I want you to imagine for a second a nation that is wrought in turmoil, a nation that feels like they don't have any liberty, and a nation that sits around, that wonders what the future is going to hold. Think about that. That's what this nation was facing in the 1700s when a group of men got together in a room and said, you know what, we don't have to accept the status quo anymore. And they signed the Declaration of Independence. Now, I want you all to imagine that for a second, because I think every person that signed that Declaration of Independence, I really believe, thought that that would mean the end of their life. I think every one of those people thought that they were going to die, because whoever thought that this nation, in which 50% of the colonials actually supported the crown, could actually succeed and bring freedom to this country, and it did. And we all saw what happened through the Revolution in history books, and we see what happens when a nation was divided against itself in the Civil War. My grandfather, who was from Gilman, stared down the Nazis in World War II, and to the extent that he could never talk about it to me. And I see that DNA, that generation, that American spirit that has stood up and said we refuse to fail and we will never fail. And I look at where we are today. When you look today, we're a nation that is facing some tough times. We're a nation that's buried in debt, a nation with neighbors that are so unemployed and that are searching for work and can't find it. And the easy thing to do is to say, you know what, I give up. I can't do this anymore. It's too great. The burdens are too heavy. We can't carry them. But I've got to tell you, the DNA that existed then is the DNA that exists in us today. America will not fail if we simply refuse to fail. I gave a kid in Morris, Illinois, a Purple Heart. For his first deployment to Iraq, he was injured twice. His second deployment sent him home, and he's had 8 heart attacks since he's been home. 8. But I gave him his Purple Heart for his first deployment. I asked him, what's going through your mind? And he said, Congressman, and I understand this having been over there, he said, Congressman, he said, I called the Army the other day, and I told them that they could have all my retirement benefits, they could have all my disability, they could have every award that they've ever given me, if they just let me go back to Iraq for a year. Because his brothers and sisters are over there, and he feels like he has a debt to still pay. That is not something you're going to find in the Chinese military. It's not something you're going to find in the Russian military. It's something that is in our DNA here. So as we look forward at the challenges we face, and as we walk out of this room, a party that frankly has to deal with a decision that's not fun to have to deal with, but one that's going to be united again on March 21st. Never forget the fact that we are Americans. Never forget that on September 12th, we were a nation united under a single purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I am humbled to have been the representative for the 11th District for 13 months. This is not a job I take for granted. This is nothing that I deserve. It's something that people in my current district said, we want to give you 2 years to represent us. And now I am back humbly asking you again, or humbly asking you in here for the first time, for the opportunity to represent you for 2 years. Because I'm passionate about the future of this country. Because I'm passionate that that spirit that made us independent at the very beginning can once again make us the strong, can let us to maintain our position as the strongest nation in the world. We don't have to accept that China is going to be #1, because if we put our minds to it, they're going to constantly be on our heels, and America is going to continue to go gangbusters and grow rapidly. God bless every one of you, and thank you.